In the beginning of the movie, we see a detective named Danny. He was visiting his therapist to overcome the trauma as he just lost his only daughter. Danny recalls his 7-year-old daughter, Minnie. Danny asked her daughter to play in a park. However, Danny didn't pay attention to his daughter for a while, and suddenly, when he turned around, she was no longer in the park. Until this day, Minnie had not been found. The perpetrator had been arrested, but he was not sentenced for having a mental illness and was released. After getting the therapy, Danny got a call by his partner, Nix. They have received an anonymous tip that a safe deposit box at a bank is going to be robbed. Nix says that for the last few days, there has been the same kind bank robbery, but in a different branch. But strangely, the robber was targeting a safe deposit box that did not contain money. And this time too, the robber was also targeting the safe deposit box. When they arrived, Danny and Nix got into a van to look around. Initially, all seemed fine. Just then, they saw a suspicious man. The man was Delorraine, who was very skilled at using hypnosis. He had just hypnotized a woman so that she felt very hot. He also succeeded in hypnotizing the bank security guard as well. Feeling that he had found the culprit, Danny rushed into the deposit box room. He was pretending to make an account. But to his surprise, the contents of the safe deposit box that Delorraine was after was a photo of Minnie, Danny's daughter. Turns out Delorraine was already in the bank. The security guard, who had been hypnotized, immediately started a rampage there. Bank employee who had been hypnotized was asked by Delorraine to take the deposit box he was targeting. Danny, who ran into a bank employee, then held her at a gunpoint. But strangely, the bank employee did not seem to care about it. 2 security guards came in and shot Danny. Luckily, Danny survived because he was wearing a bulletproof vest. After that, the bank employee and 2 security guards left. The woman who was hypnotized by Delorraine stripped her clothes in the middle of the road and immediately made a chaos over there, due to which the car that the bank employee was riding got involved in an accident. Delorraine took the deposit box and planted a bomb. Danny saw Delorraine run, he chased him. Delorraine was cornered and about to be handcuffed by 2 of Danny's friends. But as you guessed, Delorraine hypnotized the 2 guys and now they were pointing gun at Danny. Danny asked about his daughter's photo in the deposit box, but Delorraine didn't answer and jumped off the building. When Danny checked, Delorraine had disappeared and Danny's colleagues shot each other because they were hypnotized. After Delorraine's disappearance, Nix said that all the witnesses did not remember anything that had happened because they had been hypnotized by Delorraine. Danny thought that Delorraine had kidnapped his daughter because Danny found a photo of his daughter in the deposit box, which Delorraine was after. At night, Nix called Danny to report something. He had the location of an anonymous caller who reported the previous bank robbery. The location was in a therapy facility which uses hypnosis. Danny met a fortune teller and owner of the place, Diana Cruz. Danny then conveyed his intent and purpose for coming to that place. Danny said that he wanted to investigate someone named Delorraine, but as soon as she heard the name Delorraine, Diana was terrified and immediately asked Danny to leave. It turned out Delorraine had come and hypnotized Diana's friend who was outside. Therefore, Diana's friend crashed into the house. Diana's friend said that Delorraine would never stop, and in the end, he killed himself. After the incident, Diana was taken to the police station to be interrogated. They figure out that the last incident and the previous incident at the bank were the result of a hypnotic ability that was abused by Delorraine. Diana knew a lot about hypnosis because she was herself a hypnotist. Delorraine and Diana came from the same hypnosis division, but Delorraine, who was very strong, became corrupt because he was the most powerful hypnotist among the members. Diana and the other hypnotists tried to stop Delorraine. Nix, who was there, did not believe in hypnosis and all Diana's was telling. Diana showed her abilities and succeeded in hypnotizing Nix easily. Nix then went out, and Delorraine was already there, and he hypnotized Nix. The lights suddenly went out. Nix rushed to finish off Diana and Danny. Diana told Danny to run away because Nix was under the hypnotic effect, and he would not be able to regain consciousness before doing what he had been told to. Danny managed to handcuff him, but he still tried to take the gun, even though it hurt his own hand. Diana shot Nix right in the head. Nick's death makes Danny and Diana fugitives as they are accused of killing Nick. This time, they both intended to go to Mexico to meet someone who could stop Delorraine. A sheriff then comes, and he realizes Diana and Danny's truth. But quickly, Diana managed to hypnotize the sheriff. Delorraine contacted Diana using the sheriff's radio, saying that he had arrived at the same bar. At the front bar, Delorraine with 2 policemen had surrounded Danny and Diana. Like it or not, Danny ran away to distract the police. Unfortunately, Danny was cornered. But luckily, Diana and the hypnotized sheriff managed to help him. On the way, Diana said that Danny was someone who was not easily hypnotized by her. That's because Danny has a psychic barrier, and it was obtained by him because he lost his child. The only person who can hypnotize Danny was Delrain, because he had very powerful hypnosis. On the way, they were stopped by a police patrol. But then again, with Diana's skills, they could continue their journey without being suspected. Finally, they both arrived in Mexico. They met with Diana's old friend, who is also a hypnotist, Jeremy. There, Jeremy finally said that Delrain is seeking Domino, a powerful weapon developed by the Division. This Domino could use the most powerful hypnosis among other hypnotists. The Domino project maker divided it into several parts and kept it in a safe deposit box at several banks. Delrain will become even stronger if he gets some parts of the Domino. But to their surprise, Jeremy turns out to be Delrain, who then hypnotizes them both so that they see Jeremy. Danny and Diana then rush away. All the local residents there had been hypnotized by Delrain to block them. They were both cornered, and several police came. But when they were about to be arrested, surprisingly, Danny could use hypnosis and managed to get Delrain arrested. Danny was confused because suddenly he could use hypnotism, and this time he asked for Diana's help to find an answer to all of this. Shortly, Diana and Danny met Diana's old friend River. River was a hacker, so he's trying to help Danny by finding Danny's wife's data. Danny was surprised because his wife was still alive, and she was a member of the same hypnosis division as Diana. Shortly thereafter, Danny got a call from Delrain, who tried to hypnotize him via telephone and asked him to kill Diana. Luckily, Danny was still conscious and didn't get hypnotized. While Diana and River were sleeping, Danny investigates River's database himself and discovers that Minnie is Domino and Diana is Danny's wife. Danny thinks that Diana has already taken his daughter, while Diana accuses Danny of having taken Minnie. Not only that, all this time, the two of them were in different rooms, because all this time, Danny had been hypnotized. Everyone involved so far turns out to be members of the Hypnosis Division, who are trying to find Minnie's whereabouts through Danny. Danny then came out and saw all the property that had been used for him to make it seem as if he was in that place. Whereas, all of that is just acting and scenarios. This was done so that Danny could tell Minnie's location, which he had been hiding all this time. Danny finally realized and still chose not to tell her daughter's location, even though the division members forced him. Delrain then repeats the scenario from the beginning, starting when Danny was at the psychiatrist, even though at that time he was being hypnotized. Everything went smoothly and the same as before at the beginning of the film. But at the scene when Danny's going to enter the bank, he wakes up and tries to escape from there. Besides, Diana finally realizes that Delrain is not a person's name, but a place name which was deliberately written by Danny, so that he can remember the location of his daughter. Danny had arrived at the farm owned by his parents, who had adopted him. That's where Danny left his daughter. Now, Minnie has grown up. Danny visited her in a long time. Delrain and the rest of the division arrived armed. Danny's mother, who tried to block them, died from being shot by a member of the division. Danny and Minnie left the house. Minnie then makes all the division members kill each other with her overpowering hypnotic abilities. But it turned out they weren't at the farm, but all that was just property that had been set up to lure the division members, and they were all successfully hypnotized. With Minnie's abilities, Delrain finally kills himself. Finally, it was revealed that Danny and Diana were members of the strongest division. One day, they had a daughter, Minnie, who inherited the strength of her parents. Minnie was very, very strong. The division realized it, and they intended to use Minnie as a strong weapon. However, Danny and Diana didn't accept that. Therefore, Danny and Diana then entrusted Minnie to Danny's parents' house. Meanwhile, Danny and Diana reset their own memory, as if Danny was a detective. The photo Danny found in the deposit box was taken by him, so he could remember the location of his daughter. After all the division members were killed, Danny's family can finally be free from the Hypnosis Division. In the post-credit scene, Delrain is still seen alive because he managed to disguise himself as Danny's father, while the real father had died after shooting himself. Here the film ends. If you like this movie, please like and subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.